Okay, so good evening, everyone. This is Matthew here again. This is Matthew here again. So I'm gonna start. Sorry, sorry. Um, okay, okay. So welcome to today's class. Today's class we're going to be talking about design thinking process. We're going to be talking about the design thinking process. So there are a lot of things, there are a lot of questions, there are a lot of controversies, there are a lot of let's say stuck. Many people are stuck around design thinking process. How do I come up with a design? How do I come up with a solution? How do I go about this? How do I go about that? I want to know if I'm audible. I want to try with chat box that if I'm very audible, that I will know how I'm going to talk louder. Okay. Know how audible I am. Okay. So let's continue. Okay, so design let's continue. So design thinking process, as I mentioned, design thinking process. Sorry, I'm admitting some people. As I mentioned, the design thinking process is something that many people want to know. It's a topic that most people are trying to take for each other. It's a topic that people might not get to understand. Okay, so let's move on. Yeah, I mentioned, I said design thinking. Okay, before we go further, we have to try to understand what design thinking is all about. Oh, how do I come up with a design? Oh, I want to create a product. What's the first thing I need to consider first? What is the first thing I need to do? What are the process at which I can do to get stuff done? What are the things that I need to do? Like there are a lot of questions, around coming up with a design, going up with a design idea. So yeah, I state here that design thinking is a problem solving approach. You can see design thinking is a problem solving approach that involves empathizing with the end user. The design thinking approach that involves empathizing with the end user, exploring multiple solutions through creative ideation, prototyping and testing to arrive at innovation and effective solution. So there's something I wanted to note about this definition. When I say design thinking, is a problem. When I say design thinking, it's an approach to problem solving. Okay, as I mentioned here, is a problem solving approach that involves sympathizing with the end user. When I mean sympathizing with the end user, means you have to put the user in mind. I always look okay. There's this thing I always mention that whenever you are creating a product, you are not creating the product for yourself. Whenever you are making a flyer, you are not making a flyer for yourself. You are not the one that you are using the flyer to attract. You're making a flyer for an event. If you like the flyer, what if the flyer is not attracting people to that event? So you have to put the people that you are attracting to the event, you have to put them in mind. That is the user. You have to put the user in mind. That is what design thinking is all about. It's a problem solving approach and empathizing with the end user, exploring multiple solutions. So that is where different kind of design creativity comes in. Exploring multiple solutions through creative ideation, prototyping, testing to arrive innovation and effective solutions. So basically, this definition is so much tied towards product design. You get, for instance, if you are about creating a product, okay, let's start with I'm looking for a product now. Imagine I want to create a wristwatch. Imagine I want to create a wristwatch. People that imagine I want to design a wristwatch. So I think if you notice in the olden days, there was nothing like a wristwatch. The wristwatch they used to have then used to have a chain. You get it used to have this normal wristwatch, like it's a circular type, it's kind of big, but they always have a chain for it. You get it's like a mini bag. That's how they used to have it back then in those days. So whenever they want to check the wristwatch, they pull the clock out of it's that small clock out of their pocket and the chain. So and it is something that many people are having high demand for. Probably there's some kind of complaint that I cannot hold a wristwatch with me. You get it's too big, I cannot put it in my pocket. So that is a design thinking. The person that created that thought that I think it is very effective for people to be holding that kind of big material around. So it was through innovation, through design thinking that made them make the wristwatch to be more small in such a design that it can fit to the wrist. Do you get what I'm saying? It is through design thinking that made them think that, oh, let us make through design thinking of engineering. So yeah, there are something I want you to understand that I said multiple solutions through creative ideation, prototyping, testing to arrive at innovative and effective solutions. So through the ideation of the person that designed it, probably the people that molded the clock, the people that molded the clock came together, the people that are selling the clock came together, the people that are making the leather for the wristwatch came together and be like, oh, people are not really liking this wristwatch. The way it is heavy, the clock, the way let us make something that is very smaller that people can carry about, that is not heavy. Do you get what I'm saying? That is what design thinking is all about. So yeah, I mentioned here that it is a human-centered approach. That's like I wanted to highlight that in it like in bold. Highlight it very big in such a way that when I say human-centered approach, it is human-centric, it is user-centric. It's a human-centric approach used to solve problem in a creative and innovative way. So yeah, I mentioned that I said design thinking is not only for designers. Yeah, sometimes this topic is so broad in such a way that it does not apply to only designers. But I'm going to get to a point in this class that I'm going to just divert to designers part of design thinking. So I'm taking design thinking generally. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm taking design thinking generally. So yeah, I said design thinking is not for designer only, but is a cross-functional approach that can be applied to any industry or field. You get what I'm saying? Look at the way shovel used to be. Look at the way the design of cups used to be. Okay, imagine our laptops. Look at the way laptops has evolved. Look at the way computers has evolved from a very big building. Then in those days, they said one computer can occupy a whole building. Then they were able to innovate to a point that it just occupied only one room. Then they did it to a point that it got to a desktop. You get no, not even a desktop. It occupies some cupboards. You get from cupboards to decks, a very big decks. Then from big decks, even the so-called desktop, nowadays is not really good desktop, because if you see new desktop that they are making nowadays, it's so slim. It's even desktop computer now is looking like a DVD, not even DVD decoder. Do you know this or DSTV decoder? That is how a CPU looks like now. New CPUs that they are making. That is how small it is now. So it is based on innovation. It's something that you can carry all about the way they innovated to laptop. That is what design thinking. So it's a cross-functional approach that can be applied to any industry. So there are major five stuff. Let's say five process that design thinking cut across. Here we look at empathize. You empathize with the user, you define, you ideate, you prototype, and you test. Those are major process that you go through when you are making design thinking, when you are going through design thinking. So let's move to the next slide. Yeah, I said the creative junction. So what I mean by the creative junction is I said this is a term to describe how different types of design or creative field come together or coexist to build a solution. Okay, like I said, now I said a junction where the impact of three or more creative field is employed to create a solution. That's another way. So I said, for instance, now I'm already moving towards design. I'm moving towards design in terms of graphic design, motion design, UI design. Do you get what I'm saying? So I said, for instance, the creativity of a UI design, graphic designer, and motion designer is needed to build a app solution. Okay, for instance, you want to build an app, only a graphic designer cannot do that. I even forgot. Even a developer, you get, is involved. Someone that will code it. So they are like you are bringing in five creative field. You are bringing in 5 or 4 creative fields together to build a solution. So that is what I call the creative junction. Do you get what I'm saying? It is part of the thinking process. Because just one person cannot think all the process. If you are thinking the process just as a UI designer, I think you are getting it wrong. Because if you get to a point that the developer or the person that's going to code the design, is going to bring in his own creative part that no, oh, this thing cannot come to life. Why not do it this way? These things cannot work this way. Why not do it this way? So that is where the junction, that is where everyone come together. Let's imagine, look at our Facebook, for instance. Who knows the way Facebook used to look like, the Facebook interface? I know most of us might have used this old phone, this Nokia Sha 205, this Express Music, all these Java phones, the way Facebook interface used to be in those days. Do you get? Look at the graphic design, look at the way the icons used to look like back then. It is based on improvement. Look at the way, compare Facebook app then and Facebook app now. Do you get what I'm saying? Look at the way, look at the difference. It is due to, there are some things on Facebook apps that involve motion design. There are some stuff on the Facebook app that involve UI design, and there's some stuff on the Facebook app that involve graphic design. So that is where the creative junction comes in. So where all the creative stuff meets together, where everyone comes to contribute. Oh, this is what we need to do. This is how we need to do it. Oh, motion design. You get to see some websites. You get to see how would I say it? Twitter, for instance. Whenever you click on the like button, whenever you like something on Instagram, you see the way the like button pops up somehow. That is the work of a motion designer. People like it that way. Like it gives you a kind of unconscious user experience that makes you think like, oh, I really like this picture. You get what I'm saying? It gives you this kind of unconscious feel that, oh, I'm liking this Instagram. You keep scrolling, you keep scrolling, you keep scrolling. It is the work of it is the great work of the UX designer of Instagram that, okay, I want to go and do something on Instagram. I totally forgot what you want to go and do on Instagram, and you just keep scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Do you get what I'm saying? That is one job of a UX designer, the user experience. The user experience is so good that they will show you related things that you would like to see that will make you stay long on Instagram. So that is how we create solutions. That's how we create stuff with when I say creative junction, that is how it works. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. So here I'm going to be explaining the design process. So I said here, the design thinking is a problem-solving approach that emphasizes empathy, creativity, and iteration. Okay, so here I mentioned empathy. When I say empathy, like you empathize, I say this is the first stage that involves understanding the problem and the people that are affected by it. Understanding the problem and the people that are affected by it. I want you to get that right. Okay, it's just like, okay, how would I say it? Look at this cash of a thing. Yes, let's say the cash during the cash issue, when there was no cash. The first problem was that people could not get cash. You get, people did not have access to cash. Okay, don't let me use an example. That is looking so kind of abstract. Okay, let me use something. I said the first stage involves understanding the problem and the people who are affected by it. This involves conducting research, observing user behavior, and interviewing stakeholders to gain a deep understanding of their needs, desire, and pain points. Okay, just like let me give another example. Okay, let me use Oraimo Power Bank for instance. Sometimes I don't. It's not that I'm not promoting the brand. I'm not using their product as a case study. Okay, so I said empathy for like 3 years backward now. Let's say as far as 2020, there is this general issue about electricity in Nigeria. You get an average person phones, like you hear issue of, oh, I couldn't pick up your call, I couldn't come online because my phone was dead. There was this rampant electrical downtime in Nigeria. You get, so with time, let me say we are Oraimo, for instance, we are building up a project. So we're able to get the pain point that, okay, people are facing electrical problem. They are facing issue with power. As of 2020 or 2019, let me say 2019, the average phone, the capacity of an average phone, like the highest battery capacity you could see then back then was 3,000 amps. When I mean 3,000, that's the capacity of your battery of an average phone of the highest phone you could ever see back then in 2019. So, and 3,000 amps is not so big enough you get for you to use your phone for let's say throughout the day. When I mean 3,000 amps is a metric that is used to calculate the capacity of your battery. Do you get? So that is pain point. So Oraimo came up with a solution They built a power bank, a very small power bank. That is when this small Oraimo power bank then was raining. One small power bank like that, 10,000 amps. So 10,000 amps at least can charge an average phone back then 3 times. You get an average phone back then 3 times. So that is what make them come into the market. So people really liked it because an average phone back then was 3,000 amps, and 3,000 amps, if you divide 10,000 amps of power bank by 3, you get what I'm saying? That is let's say 9. It will charge that phone 3 times and it will still remain a little bit less. So those people understood the customer's problem. They understood that people in Nigeria were facing electricity downtime. They conducted research. They conducted research that be like, oh, an average person, an average person needs a power bank. An average person in Nigeria wants a power bank. An average person in Nigeria wants a backup that is very reliable. You get to get his mobile device up throughout the day. So that is the problem. Okay, so let's move on. Yeah, so we have to define through research. They be like, oh, many people are complaining about battery. So through they define it, and they be like, in this stage, yeah, I said define. In this stage, the insights gathered from the empathy stage are used to define the problem statement. This involves synthesizing the information and gathering, identifying the pattern, and framing the problem in a way that can be addressed through design. Okay, so when I say define, so it's just like when they were looking at the user is complaining that, oh, my phone is always dead. I couldn't pick your phone because I was charging my battery. You get what I'm saying? I couldn't pick your call because I was doing something else. I was conserving my battery. I off my data. Look at those major things. What will make you off your data is because you are conserving battery. Me, I don't even put on my data for once. You get? Those are the pain points. I put off my data. I call you via WhatsApp. It was not going through. The reason was I put off my data. That is the problem. You get what I'm saying? Oh, why were you not online? I put off my phone. Even back then, people used to switch off their phone overnight just to conserve battery due to electricity problems. So when they define the problem that, oh, why the cause of all of this action for people to put in off their data, doing all of these things is because there is no light, there is no power, they don't have a backup. Even people will be going about with their chargers. The reason is that they don't have somewhere, like they don't have a reliable backup, probably a portable backup. The backup they have is either until they get home to charge, generator or whatever. You get? So you're already defining the problem. The problem is that there is no power. And people, even if there is no power, they need something like a backup. They were actually power banks back then, but those power banks were not reliable. Like they were not good in products. Either you buy a power bank that they will tell you that it's 10,000 amps, and by the time you charge it, the power bank cannot charge your phone full. So that is they are defining the problem based on all the complaints that the user have made. So let's go to ideate. So in this process, the ideation stage is where the focus shift to generating ideas. So this is where Ramu started bringing out the idea, they're brainstorming, generating a range of potential to define problem statement. If you let's look at Ramu Power Bank. Let me even share my screen on their website so that we can do this together. Let's do this together so that we understand products, the way they do their stuff. Sorry, I want to share my screen. Change. Okay. Come. Okay, can you see my screen? I hope you can see my screen. I want you to reply by the chat box if you can see my screen. You can see my screen. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so
No,
let's
I
move on
can't.
here.
I can't. I can't.
You can't.
I
How about
can't. I
now?
can't.
Okay, you can. Sorry, I think I'm sharing the wrong screen. Okay,
Can see your screen.
let me tap. Okay, so so let's start here. So this is your Rimo website. Let me go to their product power banks. Okay, so this is their power bank. If you notice that back then This was the power bank that was raining. I think if you know this power bank, this one specifically, there is this one that was raining. This power bank was raining. Then this power bank was the deal breaker back then. What is the capacity of this power bank? Then 10,000 amps. Yes, exactly. This was the power bank that started then. So it was 10,000 amps. It was very flat. You get, so they came up with the idea that okay, let us make a power bank that is very portable. The weight of this power bank, it was so, like, how would I say it? It was so light, and it has a lot of capacity in such a way that it can charge your phone at least twice full. You can charge your phone full twice. So power bank was full. So that's where brainstorming comes in. That, oh, let us make the power bank have two ports. So let me start the discussion as the design team and the engineering team, because people are involved in designing this power bank, because the designer will not design the batteries or whatever. Let's say the engineering team and the designing team come together. Designing people that are coming up with the idea be like, okay, let us do the power bank that is going to be 10,000 amps. So the engineering team will be like, yes, it's actually possible to make the power bank with 10,000 amps. Then the designing team will be like, okay, people like things that are very portable, something that they can put inside their pocket. You get what I'm saying? Something that they can put inside their bag. Then the engineering team will be like, oh, how is that possible? And the engineering team will be like, okay, yes, there are ways that 10,000 amps of battery. When I mean 10,000 amps of battery, just as if compare Tiger battery. Imagine you are putting Tiger battery, 10 Tiger battery. You get, let's imagine that is 10,000 amps of battery. Let's imagine that is the way an ID battery is to look like, 10,000 amps, like 10 Tiger battery. And the engineering team will be like, oh, 10 Tiger battery, that is too big. You get, by the time you bundle 10 Tiger battery, it is too big. So the engineering team will be like, oh, there's another way we can make 10 Tiger battery smaller, and it's going to be the same power. Okay, you get that. They are being innovative. Probably they are going to create a special kind of battery and not going to be circular. Do you get what I'm saying? So the design team will be like, oh, can we make it have indicators? Like, so that people will know that, oh, the device is full, is 50%. Do you get? So the engineering team will be like, okay, we can put some lights there. Some lights will make the power bank. You can put 4 lights, 100%, 75%, 50%, and 25%, so that the person that are using it will know, oh, my power bank is running low, I need to charge it. So those are the process at which they create all these products. And the design team will be like, oh, everybody always have, not you not just have always have one device. Look at there is this trend all about that. If everybody always have a phone, either you have a phone and a MiFi, or you have a phone and a portable fan. You get, there is this trend that people always have just two devices that works like a phone. So you were like, okay, if because of that, let us put 2 USB ports there, so that will not just be like only one phone that you can charge. Do you get what I'm saying? It will not be like only one phone you can charge. They put two USB ports there. The engineering team will be like, yes, it's possible to put 2 ports. Do you get what I'm saying? Charging ports will be there. Do you get all of those things? Those are the way they ideate all of those things. They'll be taking note of those things. Oh, 2 charging ports can work, one input can work. Oh, let us put a light that you get inside that small portable device. If let's imagine that the lights cannot work on that small portable device, the engineering team will be like, no. The engineering team will tell the design team that, no, sincerely, the lights cannot work. Oh, 2 charging ports cannot work because there will not be space for it. If we are able to compress 10,000 amps of battery inside this thing, do you get what I'm saying? I'm just making the two conversation to look like that is the way they always create product. That is the ideation process. That is where they put ideas together to be like, oh, these are how we create things, these are how we get things done. Let me share. Let's go back to the slide. Let's go back to the slide. Let me share my entire screen. So let me go back to the slide. So here I said the ideation stage is where the focus shifts to generating idea. This involves brainstorming and generating a range of potential solutions to the defined problem statement. So that is all what I just explained now. So let's move to the next one. So here I said prototype. When I mean prototype in such a way that, oh, I think there is something they call this architecture. The architecture used to, let me shift to the architectural part of design. Before they will create any big tower, all these Body Arab, the tallest building in Dubai, before they will erect that building, there's always a prototype of that building. There is always a miniature. When I mean a miniature, a small version of that big of that big building. They will create a small version of that big building in a small, probably they use another material to create it. So they have a view of the way it's going to look like even before they erect it, so that they can correct any mistake. Any mistake they will want to make, they will not make that mistake big, they will make the mistake small. Do you get what I'm saying? That is how prototyping, that is how I can explain prototyping. Prototyping in web design is just like you are designing the website. You make the design on your Figma, you make the design on your Miro, you make the design on Adobe XD. Do you get what I'm saying? A prototype is something that looks like the actual thing. You get, it looks like the actual thing, but it's not the actual thing. So that you can have an idea of how the actual thing is going to look like. When I say prototype, prototype means like it can also be called a carbon copy. It's even more than a carbon copy, like let's say a carbon copy of the real thing. So prototype in this stage, the best idea, you know that when I say the best idea, a lot of ideas have has been flowing from the ideation stage, from the stage of ideation. So the idea, so they will now begin to filter those ideas. I'll be like, oh, this is the best idea, this is the best idea, this is the best idea. So they bring the best idea together and turn it into a physical or digital prototype. Like I mentioned, the prototype can be physical or the prototype can be digital. You get, so this prototype are used to test the feasibility of the idea. Just like they test the feasibility. When I mean the feasibility, they test how true. It's just like they be like, okay, if the idea was like, okay, let us build a house that is going to be one pillar that will hold the tall building. Okay, we want to build a 10-story building. The idea behind the 10-story building is that it's going to be one pillar that will hold the 10-story building. The idea is actually nice. Okay, let us prototype it. If actually one pillar can carry a 10-story building, when they do the miniature, like they do a prototype, they do a small version of that building. If actually one pillar can carry 10 stories, then it will, if it can carry it in the prototype, they will know that this thing actually one pillar cannot carry 10-story building. Let us make it 4 pillars. Do you get what I'm saying? That is what prototype looks like. It tests the feasibility of the idea and to gather feedback from user. They gather feedback and they're like, oh, this is going to look like, oh, this thing can work this way, oh, this thing cannot work this way. So that is what prototype means. So from there they move to the stage of testing. So the final stage involves testing the prototype with users. So they go on with building the product and testing that, okay, stuff like what would I call it? Stuff like building or architecture we not like to go through the risk. Do you get what I'm saying? Of not prototyping the design well. Do you get, or getting feedbacks well before they go out and build something massive and make a very expensive mistake. So it is they do the test, they do their testing phase in the miniature form. For instance, there's this thing I know in engineering in such a way that, for instance, if they want to build a bridge, imagine they want to build a bridge. Let's imagine there is this thing that they want to build the Fort Milan Bridge. So what the engineers will do is that they will build the Fort Milan Bridge. They will go to they will build let's imagine that the Fort Milan Bridge is going to be 30 kilometers. You get what I'm saying? 30 kilometers. So they will build a prototype. Like they will actually do a prototype, like a small version, probably in a garden. They will do 30 meters. Look at 30 kilometers to 30 meters. Like 30 kilometers divided by 30 meters, that is like 1,000. Just let me assume it's 1,000 difference, like as if we divided it into 1,000, like 1 over 1,000. So it's just like you now begin to divide everything into 1,000. Oh, the bridge is going to be 30 meters. Okay, let us make a small sample of 30 meters. Let us imagine that the bridge is going to cost them 1,000 bags of cement to create the bridge. Do you get what I'm saying? They will use 1 bag of cement to do this one. Do you get what I'm saying? Let's imagine that they will use 30 trailers of granite to build that bridge. In that prototype, they will use one trailer to build the prototype. Do you get what I'm saying? That is how a prototype is to look like. So everything they are going to use is going to be like a scale. It's going to be in a scale or in a small version of what exactly they want to prototype. So that same weight they used to project that, okay, if one bag of cement and 1 granite of sand can be able to build a 30 meters bridge. You get what I'm saying? And a 30 kg of car, a 30 kg weight can stand on the bridge and it was successful. Then we should be able to build a 30 kilometers bridge with 30,000 bags of cement, you get, and 30 trailers of granite with plenty of cars on it. You get, that is the way a prototype looks like to the actual product in terms of probably architectural design or whatever. So we are looking at it in a digital process. For instance, before they build an app, before they do anything, before you build any app, before Kuda will build their will release an update, before Cowrywise will release an update, before GT Bank, all those digital products, financial product app, before they will release the app out, they are always testing the app in their office. They will test the app multiple times. They will test it on iOS. They will test it on Android. They will test it on various phones before they will push the app out. Be like, okay, you can download the app and it will work on your phone. So those are the testing phase where they can invite people. They can do some in-house testing. They used to call it pilot testing. Pilot testing can be like a testing within 100 people. Before they put the app out, you just gather some 100 people, give them the app, they download it, they use it. This thing is not working well on my own phone, it's not working well, they quickly fix it. They do this, they do that. So that is what the test phase. The final thing involves the testing of the prototype with users to gather feedbacks and refine the design. The feedback is used to make further improvements and iterate on the design until a final solution is reached. So you can see the design process. That is how it goes. That is how it goes. It goes. So here I mentioned something about when I say repeat. For instance, if you check your Google Play app, Google, what would I say? Google is only releasing one update. Kuda is only releasing one update. I'm mentioning this app because it's something that most people relate with. Your WhatsApp will release updates. The day WhatsApp released an update that everybody was opening podcast on their social media, everybody was using the voice status features. You know what I'm saying? It was an update. Some people has received that update before you got the update because they are beta testers. You know what I mean? Beta testers in such a way that there are some set of people that some set of phones that WhatsApp will release the update to. You get what I'm saying? When they used the updates, they will give feedbacks probably on places like, oh, my own, it was not recording well, it was not up to 30 seconds. So WhatsApp will gather those feedback and work on it again. You get what I'm saying? They work on it again, they improve on that on those feedbacks to get a final solution. You get what I'm saying? And they push out another update. So that's how I'm focused on the digital aspect of product now, and they work on it. That is how it works. You get they improve on the design, then they get a good and improved solution. Here I said effective feedback should be specific, actionable, and based on the user's experience. It should provide designers with clear insight into how the product is being used, what works well, and what needs improvement. Like I said, feedback can be positive or negative, but in either case, it provides an opportunity for designers to learn and make changes that will result in a better product. So if you don't get feedbacks, they will not know how to improve their products. You get, imagine the way there's some apps. Imagine, look at the way Android used to look like. Look at the way Android version 7 looks like. Is that the way Android version 11 looks like? No, there's a big difference. They have improved based on feedbacks. Do you get what I'm saying? So I want to know, do you have any question? Any question? It's time for the question. Stop sharing. Question time. I want it to be like I'm really one talking here. Question time, question time. I want me to ask question. Question time. I have Olorunfemi Praise, Anali Baby, Samuel Obanla, Wana Sunday. I have Adams Olaide. I have Ruti Agnes. Any question? Are you confused at any point? Okay. Samuel is raising his hand. Okay, you can mute yourself. Mute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
I'm very sorry I joined in late, but due to all what I've what you said now, like I was able to gain some things. Like based on the feedback that user like let me just put an example like WhatsApp, all those well-known social media platform. Like I want to know how they get feedback from like from their audience. Like sometimes I get confused in that area. Like now, there's some I don't know what I can like, especially in WhatsApp now. There is a time if you notice something when they do this one time I get in this one time view when you want to send an image. I get me. There was a time when that if you want to like when you view it, you can screenshot that one time picture with your phone. And it's a matter of time, they actually change it that you won't be able to, like when you view it, you won't be able to screenshot. So I want to know like how did they get feedback like from the audience? Not like me now, I don't actually know where they actually get feedback. Is it that they actually like seeing our conversation and all those stuff? That's why I don't want to ask like how did they get feedback, especially all these well popular application and stuff like that.
Okay, yes, they get feedbacks. For instance, they get feedbacks via the Play Store. For instance, Play Store, if you go to Play Store, the review part of Play Store, people get feedback there, and they have communities. They have where people can give feedback on their products. They have channels for feedbacks. Do you get what I'm saying? They have channels to receive feedbacks. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not really, and another way I know that they get feedbacks is actions that you take on their app. Do you get what I'm saying? Actions like screenshots, it is a phone action. Do you get what I'm saying? So they get to see that whenever you open the app, you open a one time. It is true. Okay, when they say that, let us look at the purpose. Let us start with the purpose of that one time view of WhatsApp. The purpose is for you to view that image. Probably the image is a very private image that I just want you to view it and forget about it. Do you get what I'm saying? So what is the point of when I say that it's a one-time view and you're able to screenshot it and have a copy on your phone? Do you get what I'm saying? The purpose is not well defined. The purpose of that one-time view is not well defined if you're able to screenshot it. Do you get what I'm saying? That is, if you notice on banks app,
Yes.
you cannot screenshot because it is whenever your privacy is on. Do you get what I'm saying? On those bank apps, you cannot screenshot because the privacy option of that app is there. That no, I don't want you to screenshot any data that is on my phone app. So even if you try to screenshot, it's going to be blank. You get so the purpose was defined. Like the purpose of that features was not to allow that picture to fly around. You get what I'm saying? They just want to view the picture once and forget about it. So I think
Yes.
they have channels of getting feedbacks, and the purpose they try to reiterate, they try to how will I say, they try to come over the purpose of that one-time view. So that's what made them do that. I hope the question was well answered. Any other
Yes. Thank
question?
you. Thank you very much.
Any other question? Any other question? Looking like everybody understands what I taught today in class. Will I ask question? Let me even ask question. Okay, so let me throw my question to Adams Olaide. Yeah, hope you can hear me. Adams Olaide, can you just tell me what you really understand about the design process in your understanding, what you generally understand by the design process.
Uh, Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My little knowledge on design processing is just the way the like the thinking before the design actually before the main design takes place. So maybe like just the drawing, the prototyping, like what you draw like your the creative thinking, what you think, and what you want to do on the drawing, you draw it down. Then before actually bringing it out on your maybe on the system on the actual design. That's just my little knowledge on it.
Okay, thank you so much. I really like that. I think it shows that you were following. So another way you can put it is like design thinking is another way of putting your thinking into writing. because everybody thinks a lot of things. You have plenty ideas in your head. Those ideas you cannot articulate them inside your brain. You cannot structure them. Those ideas will not have a structure if you are still thinking them in your head. So the best way to give your idea a structure is by putting them down. Draw something, write something, prototype something. Do you get what I'm saying? Give it a give it a visual feel. Do you get what I'm saying? You want to create a cup and you are thinking of the cup in your head. How will you tell the person that will mold the cup that this is how I want the cup to look like? You have to put something into writing. You have to give us a view. It's just like you want to build a house. I want the house to be big. I want a bungalow. But there is no plan for it. Like how will the bricklayer know that this window has to be 4 by 4 feet? Or the do you get what I'm saying? How will the bricklayer know that this is how it's going to be? This is how it's going to be. So that's a simpler way to put design thinking, putting your idea, you get giving your idea a structure. I think that's another way you can put it. Okay, so Sam, you're raising up your hand again. You can mute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, so I also have a question. Like now, based on that design thinking, like I want to ask a question based on like now, like because of mostly like most designers, I don't like just I'm just talking about like a random designer. Like most time, let's assume they want to create a logo. Like mostly like my question goes this way, like when someone to like design something, like what are the things someone should look out to? Like now, I want to design a logo. Let me just say for a canteen or an eatery where they do it. Like what are the things I can just like think about, or I can just like I should think of to actually bring out the logo, or I should just like imagine something, or like do you get what I'm trying to say? Because of most people, most random designer, you don't want to create a logo. If the each name is Fumzy eatery, you just put F and E. Come, that is how like that's what they think. Like, what are the things one should think of? Like, let us assume the
So
eatery now.
I
Like,
get
what are
what
the
you're
things
saying.
one are
I
going
get
to
what you're
think to create something like that?
for a designer that wants to for a professional a professional logo designer you don't want to design flimsy E3 and go and put F and E together. Do you get what I'm saying? It can be the logo design will
Yes,
involve you putting F and E, but in a professional way. For instance, you came up with the idea, okay, you want flimsy E3. Do you get what I'm saying? Why flimsy E3? A creative designer and a professional designer, we want to know why the person wants it to be flimsy E3, not just. Do you get? Look at yeah. Look, let me say Mr. Biggs. No, let me use Mr. Biggs. I'm looking for something else. Okay, for instance, there is this eatery that I know. If you know about
Chicken
Ibile,
Republic.
there's no, don't let, okay, let me use Chicken Republic for instance. Chicken Republic. Chicken Republic. Okay, Chicken Republic, look at the logo of Chicken Republic. The probably it's not that why there is chicken in their logo does not really mean that you just want chicken to be there because it's called Chicken Republic. There is more to Chicken Republic than the chicken in their logo because their major selling points is the chicken they sell. If you get me right, like their chicken is one of their
Yes.
top products that they sell. That is why it is called Chicken Republic. Like the major thing they are selling is Chicken Republic. So other things that I said is Chicken Republic is chicken. Do you know what I'm saying? So other things that they are now selling that they are selling with in their store is to complement the chicken that they have. They are selling rice to complement their chicken. They are selling the chicken is always very big. They are selling salad to complement their chicken. They are selling meat pie to complement their chicken. They are selling other things to complement their chicken. They are selling more money to complement their chicken. So it is more than the jigger. That is their kind of business strategy. A good logo or brand designer, we want to know all of this. Jigger before they can do that. Look at Cold Stone, for instance. Look at Cold Stone. Let me use Cold Stone. Look at Cold Stone. Look at their logo. Look at the way they did. Look at the way they branded. Look at the name Cold Stone itself. If you are very creative, you should know that all what they sell, like most of the things they are going to be selling in that store, is going to be something that is being frozen. Let me say frozen. Let's say frozen pastries or frozen sweets or frozen whatever. could be ice cream, it could be food that are taken that are taken frozen. Do you get what I'm saying? When I say cold stone, like
Yes, yes,
that is what came comes to my head. So those are the things that helps the designer, the creative. That's why they call it the creative designer. It must not be like one designer that does not think. Any designer that does go and join the name together, they are not creative enough. That's why you have to be very creative about what you do. You have to do some kind of research before you jump on any logo design or do whatever. Do you get what I'm saying? I was going to mention one
yes,
eatery, Ibile Eatery. They call it Ibile Eatery. Do you get? When I saw the logo, I so much like the logo in such a way that when they were designing the logo, is the name that was there, Ibile. The person wrote that name Ibile with the Yoruba army on top. When I say Ibile, so he's trying to tell you that what they are selling there is traditional food, native food. Do you get what I'm saying? When I say Ibile food, it is mostly
yes,
traditional food. It could be amala, eba, inyo, or whatever. Do you get? And the person like was able to put in this adogon into the logo design. Do you get? It is far more than just thinking about Ibile and not write Ibile, or just go and look for one big pot. The way all these Yafumzi and Sons rental service. I'm using that as an example. There are these people that used to do all this catering service. Keniko and Sons catering service. They'll put one big canopy, one big shibi, one big spoon like that. Do you get? There is more to creativity than that. I will not really like, for instance, if the if the daughter of, let's say, Dangote want to have a wedding now, and they have Fumzi sons and Kiniko food confectionaries comes to Dangote and be like, I can handle your food, and Ibile Foods with their logo, you get, comes and tell Dangote I can handle your food. Who do you think Dangote is going to think that is authentic? Even if he have Fumzi, that Funzi and Sons or whatever can undo that stuff very well. Do you get what I'm saying? They are not, they don't look like what they can present. Let me put it that way. So that is more to that is how design thinking works. Design thinking also targets the kind of people that will patronize them. Do you get what I'm saying? That is how design thinking it cut across a lot of things.
yes,
Design thinking cut across a lot of things. I hope I'm able to answer your question.
yes, yes. Thank you very much. Like, see, I understand what you just said. Like now, when someone to actually make a design, like basically someone should actually make a research on like
Yes, a research
the
has to be made. A research has
yes,
to
a
be
research
made.
have to
You
be
have to
made
pull
on
out
the like
something
yes, like the basic thing they actually like their main core. Like I don't know if I can put that in English.
like a
Like
core value. A core value has to be
yes,
stated.
exactly. Their cover, like their main, like what they actually like their main thing they actually want to push, are like Chicken Republic, like their core
Same
value is
thing.
that chicken. So they can actually like create something around that. Hope I get.
Yes, 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 yes. That
And
is
that
that,
is
that
clear.
that's the way design thinking works.
Okay, okay, that's nice. Thank you.
Okay, so do we have any other person that has any other question? Do you have any other question? Any other question? Any other question before we call it a day? Any other question? Okay, if you don't have any other question, I want to say thank you so much for attending to this class. Thank you so much. We the previous class we have them on YouTube. You can go back to watch it, and this class too is going to be available on YouTube before next week Tuesday. Yes, probably I'll try to upload it this weekend. It's going to be available on YouTube, so you can always go back over this conversation. You can always go over it and learn more. So thank you so much. Oh, someone is raising up. You can unmute yourself and ask a question. I thought Annabelle and Annalise
Sorry for asking now that you want to close for the class, but I wanted to ask, is the class going to be mainly on product design or other aspects as well?
Yeah,
Or the
the
product
class
design
is
will cover all?
okay. Okay. The class has three aspects. It has product design, it has graphic design, and motion design. Those are the three core focus for these classes: product design, graphic design, and motion design. So
Okay.
I hope you get it. Okay.
Yes, yes. Thanks for today's
Thank
class.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I hope we can call it a day. Thank you so much and have a fantastic night. Bye for now. See you. And this class is every Friday by 8 p.m. You can always do well by setting an alarm. It's something that you can set an alarm to repeat every Friday by 8 p.m. so that you can always be reminded of this class. Thank you so much and have a fantastic night.